tried something a little different to do a little video to start, get people excited, and everyone talking. So my voice is pretty boring, it's quiet around, so I tried something a little different. But it's a today. I love that. Welcome everyone to PGA West and beautiful Senior Conference with Pizza, California day. It's supposed to be 80 degrees, I think, later this afternoon. The weather forecast is perfect for those who are playing golf. Welcome to Media Day, and how fitting it is, the irony that we are conducting today's festivities actually in the Media Center that will be our Media Center for the PGA Tour coming to town for the 65th anniversary at the American Express. So my name is Pat McKee. Thank you all for being here. For those who I haven't got a chance to meet, I'm the executive director of the tournament. I work for Sport 5, and it's so great to have everyone here this morning. We've got a lot of great things to talk about today. You saw that quick little 30-second commercial spot, of course. Before I get into some announcements, which I've gotten a lot of questions already this morning, but we've got a few things to announce, which is great. We'll talk about the new fan amenities we have out there. We'll have some player announcements. I am welcomed and honored to welcome all the way from Palm Beach, Florida, a gentleman who's been in the PGA Tour for 20 years, John Norris. John Norris is here today to talk with us, which will be fantastic. So, also have some thank yous before I get into those announcements and the Q&A from John and myself here at the end. Of course, American Express, our title sponsor, has been our title sponsor since 2020. Are just best in class. We cannot do this golf tournament without American Express, and they are an awesome title sponsor. Matt and Steve, I know you're here to represent them here this week, so thank you for traveling out from New York and being here today. I think we can all attest, for those who've been here for a long time, the energy that they've brought to this event, the experiences that they've brought to this event, and certainly they are first class in everything that they do. And not only that, of course, their commitment to this local community, the global payments leader, and keeping the charitable dollars, of course, local to this community. The support of the small businesses here in this community is truly second to none. For those who were with us just a few weeks ago, we announced another $1 million from tournament proceeds from last January's event, which brings our total to over $65 million to charity right here in the Coachella Valley. So started years ago in the old Palm Springs Golf Classic days. Flash forward to 65 years, $65 million. A few of our board members had the chance to spend some time here. And of course, our friends from Amex got a chance to spend some time there to hand out money to 16 organizations. We've got a little snippet just to show what that day was all about, which is pretty special.
And the rest small businesses that help the Coachella Valley prosper.
Yeah, it was a magical day. We spent some time over at Fine Food Bank after the announcement. We went to the Boys and Girls Club, as you can see there. So it was really fantastic. And again, American Express keeping the money here. Our title sponsor now through at least 2028. So thank you certainly to them. We've got some other great partners, of course, the city, host city. Marcy is here, of course, board member of the Impacted Golf Foundation, Linda Evans. So Linda, thank you for all you do, and Marcy in the city of La Quinta. I did see Kurt and Chris, I think, are partners down the street, of course, so 52 years there at the beautiful La Quinta Country Club. So Kurt, Chris, and team, thank you for all you do. And we're excited to welcome La Quinta as part of the rotation again this year as well. Year in, year out. I mean, we've heard it from 4 players, best greens on the PGA Tour. So kudos to all you do. I've seen Chris, I've seen Don, of course, right here at PGA West. I've not seen Brian, who's taking care of the grass, I suspect. But PGA West, you're our host venue here at the Tournament Clubhouse. Thank you all for you do every single day. I will say, for those who are out there playing golf today, Denver Hearts and Brian Sullivan have got this place in as good a shape as we've seen it in a number of years. So they had a great overseed. They've got great leadership now at the helm here at PGA West. Golf course is growing perfectly and should be primed and ready for the best players in the world to come out and shoot way too low, 26 or 28 on par. But you can't defend golf courses anymore, of course. So thank you to those partners. Impact Through Golf, I mentioned them. Linda, a board member, our host organization. They were formed strictly just to be the host organization of this event and give the dollars away here locally in conjunction with American Express. So, and of course, all the media here today. We've got fantastic media partners. We've got great people covering the living room. We've got LA, we've got Inland Empire, we've got Pizza. We've got a full house. We've got a full golf course out there. And we couldn't do it without you all being here to help spread the word, help promote tickets, help promote our player announcements that we'll have. And we are excited for just 6 weeks away for PGA Tour Golf right back here in Nikita. So we'll go through a couple of things, just high level. You've seen it probably the last few years. We make a precedent and set a precedent on fan venues. It's important to us. It's important to MX. We want to make sure that everyone who comes out to the golf tournament truly feels like a sponsor and has a fantastic experience. So whether you are paying $60 for a grounds ticket or $475 for a Champions Club ticket or substantially more than that for a Pro-Am or sponsorship fee, we want to make sure you feel special. And so you'll see that out there today. For those who are playing golf, our construction has been underway for the last week or so. On 17, as well as on 18, you'll see some of those great fan venues. A little bit of a tweaking going on this year. On the right side of 18, we have some new neighbors. So we had to change the build out, so to speak, on 18 green. But the Casamigos fan deck is back. That's always a fan favorite. The Margaritas and Southwestern Fair. Our Beer for Birdies venue is back on 17, which is always a hit. The discounted birdies there in the paint, Rocket, Alcatraz. The Bushmills Lounge, a lot of alcohol out there. But we want to make sure people have a great time when they are here. The Champions Club is back. It'll be behind the green this year. That's sort of our ultimate premium VIP venue. The Champions Club, presented by WealthSpire, is back again. And a new venue. We had it last year. It was on 18. You'll see it if you're playing golf. We're calling it the Die Club this year. So the Die Club is on the right side of 17. It's sort of your club pass, the step in between the GA and the Champions Club. So obviously Pete Dye, famous golf architect, has made his mark here in the community. Of course, here at PGA West and the Die Club on the right side of 17 this year. I want to call out, of course, our new fan venue that we built last year, which was a big hit. We've enhanced that this year. So we call it The Turn. Of course, it's situated on the first tee and ninth green right here at PGA West. And it's our opportunity to focus on local small business. And we've got a Malvin Golf collaboration where it's the only place that you can buy this apparel on site. As at the PGA Tour event, there's the Malvin co-branded stuff with American Express, which is really fun. We've got Cheekies, which is a Palm Desert staple, of course. The brunch spot there in Palm Desert will be serving local fare. We've got Brandini coffee. So really just kind of highlighting some of those local small businesses for our fans. It's a public venue. Of course, there will be an LED screen showing the action, possibly showing some NFL football over the weekend, so you can watch that, as well as the best players in the world, but some other local small businesses as well. And right next to the turn area is the Patriots Outpost. So very important to us. All retired active duty military are granted complimentary admission into American Express all 4 days. And we give them a venue there on the 9th hole where they can come, they can eat and drink, watch PGA Tour golf adjacent to the tournament. Ticket prices, one last piece I did want to mention, Spotlight Casino, are they in the room yet tonight? I haven't seen them yet, no, but I think they're coming to play golf. I do want to call out Spotlight. They've been a tremendous sponsor, our largest local sponsor. They support our volunteer program. 1,200 volunteers strong, believe it or not. I think we've closed registration for volunteers. We've had our strongest year ever. The commitment from those folks is incredible, and Spotlight helps support that program. We offer breakfast, lunch, uniforms, a happy hour for the concert, tickets, and couldn't do it without Spotlight Casino. Spotlight 29 Casino, sorry. I believe it's their 29th anniversary. So ticket prices all on our website, of course. I'm sure you all studied it en route or prior to attending today. But in case you haven't, we're $60 on Thursday for a GA ticket. We're $85 on Friday, Saturday for a GA ticket, which of course includes your concert venue. Our Dive Club is $225 on the non-weekend days, and then our Champions Club is just $375 to $475. But American Express card members 20% off, the best deal in sports, the best deal in on the PGA Tour. Your ticket prices are 20% off. Your merchandise when you're here on site is 20% off. Concessions, and so a phenomenal offering, card member offering for Amex card members, of course. Concerts. Yeah, we announced, 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving Monday. If you haven't seen them yet, you see them now. We've got Keith Urban Friday night, which will be fantastic. I think the last time Keith was here, he was headlining Stagecoach. I'll read off some of his accomplishments, quite impressive. 4 Grammys, 13 CMAs, 15 ACM awards, 3 AMA awards, 2 People's Choice Awards. Keith Urban will be on the stage on Friday, which will be fantastic. I don't know if Nicole's coming, so don't ask me. But he should come on a phenomenal show right there. Concert starts about an hour after last cut. So 5 o'clock concert start right there on the driving range. You see the best players in the world in golf balls at 10:30, and then Keith Urban on Friday, and then Train on Saturday. Train is also had a number of Grammys and hit songs. 14 songs on Billboard's Top 100, 13 albums on the Billboard 200, and it sold more than 10 million albums and 30 million tracks worldwide. So they should put on a phenomenal show as well. They're San Francisco based. So last year we had Gwen, who was a SoCal artist. This year we've got NorCal covered and Train on Saturday night. So should be a lot of fun, and looking forward to the concerts coming back and everyone enjoying those evenings. Yes, there's a golf tournament going on, so I'm sure you're curious who's playing golf, which we'll get into here shortly. Took a quick peek at the commitment list as of this morning, and it's very strong. It's we're 6 weeks away, as I mentioned, from tournament week. I have to recognize, of course, as always, our past champions. Currently, we have 5 of them in the field: Jason Duffner, Bill Haas, Adam Long, Andrew Landry, and Siwoo Kim are currently in the field. That's 5 past champions. I do want to call out and recognize a local story for those of you who aren't aware. A gentleman named Tom Whitney. Tom Whitney will be in our field this year. He is a La Quinta High School graduate, believe it or not. Tom went to the Air Force Academy, served his country, has taken a number of years to get to the PGA Tour. He is now a fully exempt PGA Tour member, and he'll be making his first, not his first PGA Tour start, because he actually got a sponsor pick here probably 3 or 4 years ago, but it'll be his first full season out on the PGA Tour. And we're excited to have Tom here to bring all of his local family and friends. He doesn't live here, I don't think, still, but he's super excited. He calls me like once a week, and he's just asking what he can do to help and support, which is fantastic. So local story, Tom, I want to call that out, of course. So first marquee player name I do want to mention. We have Tony Finau. Tony Finau, where's my friend? There she is. He asked me a couple weeks ago, is Tony coming? Yes, he is coming. We're excited. Tony will make his start. It's the fifth consecutive year, actually. Tony had a phenomenal year last year. He won in Mexico at Vedanta. He had 5 top 10 finishes. He finished 16th, I think, here last year. Honestly, one of the nicest, not just golfers on the PGA Tour, but one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet. So we're excited certainly to have Tony Finau teed up again, and 6-time PGA Tour winner, 2-time Ryder Cup, 2-time President's Cup. Heck of a resume, and maybe he'll get a chance to win T8 in 2024. I tell this story every year when I announce this next guy, and I apologize, but it's just too good. He shot 61 here, I think, the year of COVID on Sunday, and he didn't win the golf tournament, which is just crazy to me. So go look at those back tees when you're out there playing golf, and how can you imagine that you shoot 61 and not win? But I think that was the year Siwoo won. But again, Patrick's resume speaks for himself. He's Southern California based with the UCLA. He's won 8 times. He's world number 5, and he's returning. This will be his 4th year in a row. Actually, he's played at Impact. So I'm looking forward to welcoming Patrick back to the field. Fresh off his win 2 days ago, I think, in Bahamas. Got it back. World number 1. It's always great to have world number 1 in the field. And Scotty, talking about nice human beings, another nice, fantastic guy. He won Tiger's event by a few shots here over the weekend. He is the world number 1. So anytime you have the world number 1 in your field, I guess we're doing something right. And we're excited to have Scotty back. He had a heck of a year. Of course, 2022, he slipped on the green jacket. He had a career season there, but last year wasn't too bad. One of the players, of course, on the PGA Tour. Defended at WM Phoenix Open, and he'll be back in the desert here in just 6 weeks' time. The next one, another SoCal young man, Xander. Xander's back. Xander Schauffele, San Diego native, went to USD, I think? No, San Diego State? There's right. San Diego State. Anytime I don't know something, I always got to go there. Back. Tried to get him last year. He hadn't been here since 2016, sponsor pick. But he finished 3rd here last year. For those who were here, he made an albatross, which is a 2 on a par 5 on number 5. So we're excited to have him back. Of course, every year he's on the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, won the Olympic gold medal 2 years ago, world number 6. And Xander will draw crowds as well. Again, so 2 SoCals and Patrick and Xander. And then another one that I wanted to announce today, the last player I'm going to announce that is currently committed is Tom Kim. Tom is 21 years young. He's already won 3 times out here on the PGA Tour. Most recently, just a couple of weeks ago, he defended his title at the Shriners event there in Las Vegas. And he was a stud at the President's Cup a few years back, if you recall. He was 19 at the time. And he played here last year as well. So Tom is another exciting name to add. And he finished 6th here last year. So those are the 5 marquee names. Of course, again, Sung Jae In right now, Siwoo Kim, Tom Whitney, and those 5 gentlemen to go today. A lot still to come over the next coming weeks. We're 6 weeks out from Tournament Monday, and I'm optimistic that we'll be seeing some more players. We can't give you it all today here at Media Day. We got to keep paying attention and checking our press releases and checking our website so that you continue to help us promote the event. Again, remember, the more tickets we sell, the more dollars go back to those great local organizations. The more sponsorships we sell, likewise, and the more people we have out here to support this community, the better. And so our purse is up from $5.9 million back in 2019 to $8.4 million. So it continues to elevate and go up and up and up every single year. So John and I will talk about that briefly here in a few minutes of all the great things happening at the PGA Tour. And another thing I want to mention is we're back to the calendar year, which is a new thing. Not new, I guess a redo, I suppose. It's been a long time since you've had that wraparound season, right? Where the tour started in September up in Northern California, and we were like the 11th or 12th events on the calendar season. Now we're the third, which helps us. I think it's, as you saw that, and who's committed to the field, right? The race in the FedEx Cup is going to be fast and furious starting in January here in Nikita and going through the Fourth Tour Championship at the end of August. So, again, guys will be starting their year, most of them in Hawaii and then coming here. And as I say every single year, they love coming here because, they love coming here because they have relationships in the Valley. We've got a first-class title sponsor. We have first-class other sponsors who are playing golf with them over the course of 3 days. They're guaranteed 3 competitive rounds, which I think is very important. Of course, early in the year, they can go all the way to Hawaii and only play 2 and then have to come here. So we might as well have them start here in Nikita and play in Dome golf. Sorry, where's Dome at? There he is. Dome. Sorry, I'm not intended. Dome golf here. But Jeff Bloom, his nickname is Dome, so who don't know that already. But again, we look forward to a fantastic year. We look forward to all the great things that this event does for this community, the charity, the local small business, engaging the community. We've seen ticket sales previous years, 48 to 50 states, dozens of different countries. So it really brings in the world of sport, the world of golf. It's the kickoff event of our season in January, certainly, and all the great things. So with that, I will call him up. I already introed him before. I apologize, but this gentleman is I call him a friend as much as I call him a colleague. John has been with the PGA Tour for 20 years in some form or fashion, and he has come all the way from Florida to be with us today. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world of golf. John's current role is the Senior Vice President of Tournament Business at the PGA Tour. So he and I are going to come up and say a few words and welcome John Morris to the stage. Okay, I think we're done. Morning, how are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Are you jet lagged? Welcome to the West Coast. I mean, you're used to this. You're on the road every single week.
A lot. Yeah. But coming from Florida, people think this time of year, Florida's really nice, which it is, but it's not.
So, SVP of Tournament Business. Tell the audience what exactly that means. What is your day-to-day? What does your week look like as your role?
So, to sort of condense it, our group in terms of business is the direct liaison between the PGA Tour and 35 of those events that you spoke of. So, pretty much every week, we're involved in what I say is outside the ropes as business consultants to all our clients. So, sales and marketing, business development, ticketing, operations. We have sort of resident experts in each one of those areas that we work with our host organizations to make sure they put on the best event they can for our channel sponsors week in and week out on the PGA Tour. So while Pat and I don't work for the same company, we work very closely to make sure that all of our goals are aligned and putting forth the best product in the world.
40 events or 30, how many events? 40?
42.
Okay.
3.
How many of those 42 or 3 do you go?
Oh boy. 30, 35 maybe of those. And it ranges. Sometimes I'll be there 1 or 2 days depending on what's going on. Sometimes the entire week. This is an entire week location for me. We got to mix a little business with pleasure, and no place better to start the year.
Certainly, you heard me talk about the charity and the economic impact. The PGA Tour is more than just about getting the best players in the world together week in and week out. We see it here this week. This audience certainly sees it here. I'll talk a little bit about those 42 weeks and the 35 weeks of what is happening once they leave here and they go to San Diego. We talk about the greater landscape of the PGA Tour and all too.
Sure. It's always a great reminder to watch the videos that you put up earlier, because you think about the numbers and they're overwhelming, right? And $65 million over $1 million last year. At the end of next year, PGA Tour will reach $4 billion in charitable giving, which you can get a little numb to. It's a giant number, but when you look up on the screen, you see the food bank, and you see the Boys and Girls Club, and the difference that that makes in lives in every community, it's just unbelievable. And it starts with the title sponsor who makes sure that's an important part of why they invest in the PGA Tour, and then you come to the local communities and see whether they're kids or undernourished, and it never gets old. And it's probably one of the most rewarding things about working for this organization.
We're fortunate. We've been around 65 years, and certainly in next 2028 at least. There's new markets, new events coming on board every single year. Myrtle Beach is one this year, and Utah is one. Tell the group here, how does the tour go about choosing new markets to play in?
Well, there's a lot of criteria that goes into it, as you can imagine. We get a ton of incoming calls saying, hey, my city or my county or my golf course would love to host a PGA Tour event. We say, okay. And it starts there. But it also starts with the title sponsor. But even more importantly, it has to do with the combination of the community. Will they engage in the process? The golf courses in the area can be played at certain times of year at certain venues. And then it comes down to, as you look around here, like you mentioned, whether it's the Keith Country Club or out here at PGA West, our players love it. And once you get all those combined, then you say, all right, we'll talk about the next step. But there's a lot that goes into it. Myrtle Beach, for example, is the Chamber of Commerce there and wants to continue to raise the profile of that area beyond just sort of a golf destination and get global coverage. And so that's why they invested in the same with the new property in Utah. But there's different reasons why we go to every market, but it starts and ends with an engaged community, a title sponsor, and a facility that can host the best players in the world.
How many times have you been to Indiana?
I have been, this will be the 12th year. I came years ago in another life in a different job, so I say 13. And it's to see, it's always been a great event, but to see where it is, I see Larry over there, a lot of conversation with him throughout the years, to where it was, to where it is now, but even more exciting is where it's going, and whether it's the impact of golf or the community, and the announcements that you just made with 4 of the top 11, 3 of the top 6, the #1 player in the world. That's just part of it. I think it has all the ingredients to continue to elevate, not just locally here, but on a global scale.
And I know, busy week for the PGA Tour meetings. In a few days, there'll be some awards handed out, of which Amex is up for Best Special Event, alongside some pretty special ones. Our concert series has been recognized by the PGA Tour as Best Special Event, alongside a phenomenal list of events, WM Phoenix Open, RBC Canadian Open, some others. So, I will tell anybody if.
Well, we have that in common.
Okay. Perfect. But, what goes into that? What's, frontline invitationals on there.
Right.
So, any insights, feel free to turn your cameras off.
We do, I'll be pulling, it's a little hokey, but I'll be pulling the card out of the envelope and finding out Thursday night. So most of that's true. So every year our tournaments get together and they vote on different categories for different tournaments. And so even to be nominated for one of those awards is really special. It's special for the sponsor, it's special for the community. But the fact that you guys are in that category of the special events, and really, concerts are relatively new on the PGA Tour, but concerts to the scale that we do them is really new. It is not unusual for us to have a guitar player in a Margaritaville that's 60 by 60 playing guitar for 40 people. It's different to have Keith Urban and train. And so what you guys have done, a lot of others are trying to emulate. But it really started here, and the difference now, and from the first year you did the big concerts, it's a big undertaking from the traffic to the city to the fire, the police, and without the city and the local area leaning in, it doesn't work. And so you guys, I don't want to say perfected it because I don't want to jinx it, but it's amazing that you can get that many people, that type of act in and out of a golf course in the community like we do. So congratulations on that.
So you have 32 events, of course, with a huge business side of things. but also a player engagement, and there's a team for that. But I know you have conversations with players all the time. Why do they come here? Why do you think, again, for the top 7 again in the world #1, what is it about this area, this event that you think attracts the best golfers in the world? What is the golf tournament?
It is. And I think there are 4 or 5 things that a PGA Tour player looks at when he and his team are putting their schedule together. First and foremost, is it a competitive environment they want to be a part of? Check the box. Is it the right time of the season? Check the box. Is it in an area that there are other things to do? A lot of them travel with family and friends and relatives. Check that box. Do they know what the weather and the conditions will be like? Check that box. And so if you look around, it is the perfect spot to start the PGA Tour season in the continental U.S. And you made a joke about 26 under, but in perfect conditions with a perfect golf course, I mean, we used to have a saying that these guys are good and they're still good. We just have different sayings now. But it is amazing how talented they are. When you put them in perfect conditions, dome aside, you put them in perfect conditions, they're going to shoot really low scores. And they like that. They don't want to start the year out sort of getting their brains beat in 3-inch high rough, and they have the rest of the season for that. So it's a perfect opportunity for a lot of them. It's the first time they're in real competition for a couple months. This time of year, there's a couple of events going on, but they're not part of the season, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, I think, great field, of course, in the Bahamas, big-time Tiger ass to come and play.
Yeah.
Great field. But then they really just shut it down. And I think it's a testament to the new schedule and provided these players an off-season, right? Because now, where in the fall, they have a chance to get a little bit of a downtime, that is, and starting back in 2024 is great. But I mentioned, right, 5.9 in 2019, we're 8.4 now, we'll be north of 9 million within 2 years. A lot goes into that, of course. Talked a little bit behind the scenes of all the things business-wise at the tour and how we've grown together. Certainly.
I think if you look at probably what that versus 20 years ago to now, it has grown every year. And it's important to keep the best players in the world. And it's also important for our sponsors and our local community because although you might ask the players, well, what are you playing for this week? And they might get within the range. They understand that in order to attract the best players and keep them, they have to be fairly compensated. And fairly compensated in comparison to other professional sports, in comparison to other entertainers. I think you'll find us right in line with other sports where our best players are making a great living. They don't come on the PGA Tour to do that. They come with aspirations of being one of the greatest players in the world. But with that comes the reward, the financial success, which is important to everyone, and starting with American Express on that list.
Look, the last few years have been interesting times for golf, I'd say, to say the least. I mean, going back to COVID, right? I mean, we collaboratively and collectively as a sport, first professional sport back, right? So the PGA Tour has been busy, the tournaments have been busy, but now, of course, with the PIF and the pending framework agreements, talk us a little bit about the last, not just what is current, but the last 2-3 years, starting with COVID, competitive threat, as much behind the scenes as you can. That's going on here.
Oh, there's a lot there. Let's start with the last 2 years. So you had mentioned American Express since 2020, and they came on right before the pandemic. So you talk about a sponsor that came in not that long before the tournament started and went through that transition. So we thought that was a time of change. We'd be happy to go back to that period. But it really did. It's interesting. The silver lining from the COVID time was it sort of galvanized us as an organization and our host organizations and our tournaments, because we always talked about the relationship having a lot of tentacles in all parties, the title sponsors, the host organizations, the communities. Everyone leaned in and really felt the partnership of what it means during challenging times. And so we came through that. And silver lining from the sport is you went from a time where golf memberships were down, prices for rounds of golf were down, interest was waning a little bit, and it came out of COVID the opposite, right? You've got golf is booming again, we've got so many, we've attracted, whether it's with a Netflix series or celebrities playing golf or musicians being engaged, it's the game of golf is more energized than ever, and a much more diverse group is being attracted to our sport, young, old, and everyone in between. And so you get to where we are now, and we've had a disruption here in the last 18 months. It's something that literally in real time we're working through. You mentioned our definitive agreement, which is a framework agreement we have till the end of the year. Our senior executives are working literally right now on that. I think the other piece that came out of that is once it became public that there was an interest in investing in the PGA Tour, we had a number of groups come out of the woodwork and say, I didn't realize that you were open to that. We want to get involved. So it really, in a way, gave us the confidence as well to say, there are other huge organizations and huge groups that want to invest their time and money in our sport. And with that, there's no doubt in my mind we'll end up in a good place, better and more galvanizing the entire world of professional golf.
Yeah, just to close on that, and we'll open up to a few questions, but just what, very, very high level, everyone, here's the pit, and the pit, there's a lot of movement going around, just very high level, how is it looking overall, you mentioned the end of your deadline, but share again, as much as you can, and we'll offer a few questions.
Yeah, I think the PIF is the acronym for the private and public investment private. Public investment fund Saudi Arabia, and clearly they're interested in golf as well. And it was divisive. And now we're at the table having a conversation on what it looks like to be partners. And as I mentioned, there's other folks that are interested as well. So they could be 2, 3, 4. We're not sure where we're going to end up. But the goal is, again, to unify the sport of professional golf. And so I think we're in a really good spot. And things will be happening really quickly, most likely here in the next, could be this week, could be next week. And so I'm sure I'll have a lot more to talk about when I'm back here in 6 weeks, because some big decisions will be made. But again, I have trust and faith in this organization. They have all the right goals in mind, including charitable giving, and so it's going to have a happy ending. Great. Questions? You remember before any questions? Oh, John, you put your hand first. I control the tee sheet for later today, so if your name disappears, I can't imagine that.
Yes, Larry, for me or for John?
For Pat.
First of all, I'm not playing today. So.
I don't think I have another card I can play.
Actually, kind of one question in 47 parts. I'll start with you, actually, and then I can follow up with you with that. Obviously, there's a name that wasn't mentioned today that would normally be the centerpiece of what's going on today, and we all understand why. We like to say that you can control what you can control. This is a second year in a row we may have this situation. How does the tournament move forward, both in marketing and selling tickets and stuff, without being able to say definitively, oh, by the way, the guy who's won here twice in the last 6 years, might be here, might not be here, we don't know when it'll be here.
Again, anytime we can have the #1 player in the world, I'll tip my cap and hang on there, right? So we're excited to have Scotty. We're excited to have Tony. We're excited to have Tom Kim. We've seen prior to even the announcement of any players, ticket sales are as good as they've ever been. So certainly, I can't control who will play. All these players, there's 156 that are going to start on Thursday. There's 250, 300 PGA Tour members, and we'll focus on what we can focus on and control. And look, I think you've got Xander, you've got Patrick, you've got some of those other guys. Our field continues to get better and better every year, and hopefully within the next few weeks we'll be able to announce some additional great players as well.
John, I'm sure I'm not alone in getting thousands of questions from people seemingly every day about what's happening, what's not happening, where you're going with this. why isn't this done? Will it ever get done? Why do they want to get it done? When you would talk to just the average golf fan, who may not necessarily be involved in politics or the money or this or that or the other, where would you say professional golf is at this point? Moving towards this deadline, and with the possibility of some of these players still jumping over to the rival tour.
Right. Well, as you can imagine, I get probably the same amount of questions as you do. And it's to Pat's point, whether it's 70 players, 100 players, 125, 156, we know that 156 are the best players in the world show. We can never control and never have been able to control who shows up. You have ebbs and flows of having 5 of the top 10, 1 of the top 10. And the common theme is that every year they show up, we have a great winner, a great story, and that's not going to change. If you look back 5 years ago and look at some of the names, whether it's Tom Kim or Scotty Scheffler, no one had ever heard of them before. And that same thing happens every week in the PGA Tour. So I know it sounds a little cliche or trying to avoid the question, but we don't know the answer to that. And every week of the 40-some events, most of the guys play 22 or 25 times. So there's 15 events every year. They say, why aren't you playing in my time? And so, again, there's a lot that's going to happen in the next 30 days. I'll be better equipped to answer that in 6 weeks. And I'm not trying to be evasive. It's just some of the conversations that you can imagine are so high level and intricate that it's confined to a very small group of people. And that group isn't in the room. So what I would suggest is that you just let it happen. No speculation. Social media and all that is a blessing and a curse because you see names every day that I can tell you there's no way some of those people are going. And then you see some and you do, and you just have to let it happen and react to it.
I can let you have my cell phone number.
I've got it.
Yes.
Quick
Mayor.
question, yes. So why does the PGA Tour have a rule that the players don't have to commit until the Friday before tournament week? And that's not unique to our tournament, that's the entire tour, correct? So that's,
Correct.
Granted, we've got an amazing start to a fabulous lineup, and it's going to be another stellar week for PGA American Express in the city of La Quinta. But there are a number of players that may not decide until that Friday before and then show up the next week to play. It's hard to plan for some.
Yeah, that's a great question. While we know in the 156 players, we don't know who they all are. And ideally, we love for our biggest and best stars to commit 3 6 months out. Yeah. But at the same time, we need the flexibility. I think if we made them do what you were talking about, we'd have more people disappointed because they would drop out than the other way around. And then you have a bunch of people who are disappointed. And so there are a lot of things that go into the PGA Tour schedule. Their travel, their health. Someone could come down with a back injury, or they're playing really poorly, so you want to add an event. They're playing really good, you need to take a week off the rest of the time. They have a wedding. I mean, there's so many things that go on. And we came up with that just to protect the tournaments and our players to have that flexibility. Because if you can imagine another 5 guys committing and then saying, oh, I back out. So you have a great list that's 6 weeks out. And we have thought a lot about that question, but it always comes back to we need to give them the opportunity to adjust their schedule a little bit on the fly. Because it's more advantageous more times than not. And so I think it works out better than having a bunch of disappointed people. Because some, yeah, I'll commit to 40 events, even though I know I'm going to play 25. That's not ideal.
I guess if you go to a Laker game in LeBron, right? 60% of the time. Any other questions? That was a very good question.
Yes, sir. Kind of borrow some Pat's comment and Larry's question. When you travel around the tour and you talk to players, what kind of commentary, what kind of feedback are you getting about the framework, the potential agreement with the Saudis? What are you hearing from the players?
It's interesting. You've got, it feels like the only third, right? The third are totally oblivious and they're just going out and playing golf. They've always dreamed of playing on the PGA Tour. The third get half of their information from different sources, and then a third are really engaged. and they want to know how, when, why, what are the consequences, what are the rewards. But at the end of the day, what they do know is that this is such a mental game as well, where they don't focus on what goes on inside the ropes. The littlest, the smallest of distractions sends them, no matter who they're playing for, in a direction that they don't want to go. And so, you have seen recently a couple of high-profile players join our board, and they want to make sure that they have a voice in the future shaping of the sport that they play and that they drive. And so I think that'll only be more beneficial as you get those types of high-profile players engaged.
The signature events, designated events, we've got two, say in California this year. The Amex is not one of them. Do you think our tournament has future potential for a designated signature event?
I think that probably of the 35 events that we have, there's 25 of them that could do that. It's very, very important that our schedule has a flow to it. We put them in at times of the year where you don't want to play 4 or 5 of those within a 4-6 week stretch. And so while you have all of the ingredients, that's something that is a commitment that's from the title sponsor to our scheduling folks to our tournament. There's nothing missing here that wouldn't allow for that. You have all of those things, but it's pretty complicated in putting the PGA Tour schedule together. And we're set for the next 7 years, but who knows what the future holds.
I love what you said too about the Tom King thing, right? No one knows his name 3 years ago. I mean, look what happened at Arthur and Hayward, right? I mean, he's now, what, is he even 21 yet?
No.
Playing Ryder Cup, and no one knew his name coming out of PGA Tour review, right in front of me. So, like, I think that's, we talk about the Xanders and the Patrick and but the core depth that is the field has gotten stronger every single year, right? And that'll continue to happen. Again, we've seen multiple major champions and multiple past winners, top 50 in the world, top 75. So, again, more to come on that for sure. But,
And even when you don't have one of those players, when you look at the last couple of events in the fall and the Eric Van Rooyen story and the Camilo Villegas story, it's just like you get goosebumps thinking about their personal stories. And so I would love all those guys up on the screen doing it. But if they don't, it's still going to be an amazing week.
Darren Haynes, Takeout, KCBS. I can remember as a kid going with my dad to some PGA Tour events, and I'm just wondering, you're mentioning some of the innovative new things you guys are doing that other terms maybe trying to follow. What can fans expect? Maybe even the younger ones or the ones who are interested in golf but have never been here before. That's new that you guys are.
2 things come to mind right off the bat. 15 and under are complimentary with a paid ticket. So we love to encourage kids to come out, whether they're a golf fan or not. That Monday, actually, we partner with the First Tee. It's a holiday Monday, MLK Day. We welcome out the local First Tee chapter to do kind of a behind-the-scenes look and tour of the PGA Tour event. And then Sunday, we actually have a clinic for local junior golfers to come and actually hit balls on that same driving range that our leaders did, right? So last 2 times I think Sunday is 10:45, 11, at 11:30. Young boys and girls are out there hitting golf balls on that same range. So those are a few things for sure.
Pat, I just want to real quick, you had all the names up there, and Pat understates his commitment to this event year round in his organization. And it's not lost on us what Sport 5 and yourself and the rest of the team and Frank and Impact Through Golf and Linda and the local community and Impact Through Golf. It takes a village, and everyone here has leaned in. And you went through some challenging times without knowing who your sponsor was, with an organization that was transitioning out and a new one in. And the common theme is always rallied around this community, and it's just really impressive. And it doesn't happen everywhere. So congratulations to the team and the rest of the group too.
Well, if no one has any questions, welcome back, Blake, from child number 2. Day 2 on the job, and he's here. I appreciate it. What's that?
Okay.
That was me last year. Yes. But it's good to see everyone. Again, for those playing golf, have a great time. There's golf balls in the carts. There's some food stations running around out there. It is 10 o'clock, so we'll see you off in 30 minutes, and then we'll get back together in this room at the conclusion for some sort of work. So thank you all for being here, and have a great day.
Thank you.